I wasn't even going to play Battlespire. I was just going to cover the numbered entries of the Elder Scrolls series. But I heard from some people I trust that these side games are worth looking at. At least they told me Redguard is. I've heard positive things said about Redguard, but not about Battlespire, so imagine my delight when I ended up enjoying my overall time with this game. Battlespire is a streamlined Elder Scrolls experience, and I'm not just saying that because it's the next game chronologically, and each game tends to become easier to interface with. That jump between Arena and Daggerfall? Well, less time has passed between Daggerfall and Battlespire, but I felt a similar jump in user interface. At least I found it easier to look around with the mouse, move with the arrow keys, and swing my sword. Battlespire is streamlined because it's simply a dungeon crawler. The player finds themselves transported to the Battlespire, a mythical training ground. Unfortunately for our cadet, it seems the spire has been overtaken and there's no way out. Here starts the game. I couldn't find a way to rest. To heal, I either had to find potions on enemies, touch these floating gems of healing, or use a spell to heal if I had enough magic. This is why I find it strange that the game allows the player to pick their starting class. A melee-focused class would be out of luck without at least a healing spell. The game does suggest a battle mage or a spell sword, but then leaves all the class choices open to the player, even custom classes. I think this clashes with the more guided experience Battlespire is trying to present. But presentation is a strong point. I love that 3D render of the Battlespire in the intro. I love how the dungeon looks walking around it. Later on, I came across a huge room with the skeleton of a dragon inside it. That was impressive, not just because I had to cross a chasm of fire to get to it, but large open spaces are as intimidating as they are full of possibility. Enemies can seemingly come from anywhere out of the short draw distance, and some of them fling devastating spells. The use of ramps and how different levels connect is also impressive. I get the feeling that there will be wonders to discover right up until the closing credits. As I fought scamps and vermi, which I think is plural and singular, I improved my attacks, my ability to dodge, and to deliver critical blows. As some of these simpler enemies still hit hard as I leveled, it makes me wonder if the creatures level with the player, or if this is a side effect of the combat likely being connected to a random number generator. The player may be getting stronger, but they can still miss, and the enemy can still roll critical hits. Not all enemies are hostile though, at least at first. If open to it, the player can converse with the inhabitants of the spire. Although I found that most of the dialogue options were overly aggressive, and I was never able to talk my way out of combat for long, so I wonder exactly what the system is for. There are NPCs as well, but the majority of the story is told via letters on corpses. The plot is a mystery that the player has to work out for themselves. So, should you play Battlespire? Well, if you like dungeon crawlers, this is one from the late 90s that's set in the Elder Scrolls world. It still looks and plays fine. I mean, it's Elder Scrolls combat, but the sense of exploration is still there. I loved walking around this dungeon and figuring out what to do next. Some might not like the older graphics and control, and Elder Scrolls fans might not like how restrictive the game is compared to the main series, but I have to say, I enjoyed my time with this a lot more than the intro dungeon of Daggerfall. As always, I'd love to hear what you think of Battlespire and this video down in the comments. If you liked the video, why not buy me a coffee? There's a link in the description. If you'd like to help me out in other ways, please like the video, share it on your favorite social media sites, or subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I hope you're all having a wonderful day.